Hey everybody, Sisterhood Team Call. Happy Wednesday. Let's kick it off with some recognition. If anybody has some, take yourself off mute.
I'll go. I want to congratulate Ashlyn on once again being the first one of the month to be in mine and Sarah's SC pod. So if you haven't heard, we have a new chat pod for just our coaches in every effort and in stride. And this is month 2 of her being the first. And so she said that this has really made her step up and motivate her to hit SC fast. And like, there's this big launch and, you know, a lot of people are probably going to hit SC like right on the 15th and everything, but Ashlyn was committed to doing it before, and she had a plan going into this month and she put the plan in action. And I just think that like all of her hard work from that bat challenge is really, really, really paying off and showing her consistency. And she's going to be able to go away on that Success Club trip really feeling good about where she's at in her business. So I just wanted to say congrats to her again, and that it's always a pleasure doing business with her.
I just want to welcome, we have some new coaches on here tonight for the first call, new coaches from our March mentorship. We have a smaller group this month, but it is a great group of really inspired, amazing women. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You belong here.
Anybody else? All right, I have a couple announcements. I do just want to quickly shout out Erin Yakubuski for officially becoming a published author. Her journal is available on Amazon. Like, what? How did this even happen? See the good? I'm so proud of you. And honestly, I used it this morning and it was uncomfortable for me. Like Erin always talks about like, oh, just 5 minutes of brave, like do this every day. Like it's not that simple for everybody, but that's why people need it. I'm so freaking proud of you. I read the entire beginning, which I normally skip over, and it's incredible. It's beautiful. It's exactly what so many women need. So I'm just so proud of you for publishing this freaking journal and having it on Amazon. It's really, really cool. So congrats to you, sis. Okay, 2 announcements. The first one, Summit. So we are underway, starting to do some planning, starting to just like get in chats together. So we do have a chat for anybody going to Summit. Make sure you're in the chat. Ask your coach to add you into the chat if you're not in there, and we're just going to be planning and that kind of stuff. And then, you know, that will be our spot that once we're at Summit, we're all like getting together and planning things and knowing where everyone's at, right? So you want to make sure you're in that chat. If you don't have a hotel room booked, make sure you're clicking on that link. You're putting your name on there. If you do have a room, make sure you're trying, and you want people like, we're not coordinating this for you. We've put that document together, but like if you're someone that has a hotel room and wants 3 more people and you see someone else say, I need a room, like connect with them and then delete them from there, put them on your, like take ownership and get people in a room. I know people are concerned about cost, and I totally agree. Make this as cost effective as you possibly can by grouping up together. I don't know, always up front, getting your bikes ready. And the second so yeah, get to Summit, guys. I mean, can't say it enough. You need to be at Summit. If you want to make something of this business, do what you got to do to get to Summit. Like I saw someone say, like, I think it was Chelsea, and like, oh, I have a wedding. Like my RSVP is no, I cannot come. And I'm totally joking, and maybe it's your like sister. I have no clue. I'm just saying. The next announcement is just surrounding gut health. So we have our launch coming up. It's available on Tuesday. Like, hopefully you guys have started those conversations. Poor Chelsea, have started your spreadsheet and are just like getting in the group with this. Like, you're not too late. This is a huge hit among, like, guys, we send emails all the time and people don't respond that much. This one, everyone's responding. Like, people need this in their life. Mama. Challenge your clients to do this with you. Can I have this thing? Yeah. and make the most of this launch. So that's really it. I'm so excited for tonight, guys. I asked Erin to lead a team call like a month ago. I was like, just pick a date that works for you. I know you're in Florida with your fam and have so much going on, but Erin really has so much value to offer this community. She started, she'll tell you maybe under 2 years ago or whatever, but like was a natural out the gate and really made a lot of people feel like, oh my God, why is she seeing such early success, right? And look inward and be like, why not me? But I think as you hear from Erin and as she shares, her authenticity just shines freaking through. So I'm really excited for her. She's going to share on a variety of topics tonight about how to keep coaching simple. Just so appreciate your time, Erin. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Kind of like sidebar, I'm in this weird atrium where we're staying because I had to escape my children because they were like wild. We're in this tiny little condo, and I've actually like escaped to a place that has even more kids. So like if you guys have trouble hearing me at any point, just like give me a sign or whatever, and I'll try to speak like better into my microphone here. But this is the best I can do because yeah, I'm in Florida, I'm with my family, but I am so freaking committed to this and to sharing, and I absolutely love having the chance to talk to you guys. And Courtney's right, like I did find some really early success. I feel like I came in guns a-blazing, but I didn't do anything really like out of the ordinary. I just kept it super simple and I continue to keep it super simple. I'm not one of these like uber organized women who have crazy spreadsheets and all these systems and methods yet. That's probably going to come in time, but I really like to keep things simple so that I can maintain the passion that I have for this business, which still just over a year and a half later is massive. Like every single day I pretty much wake up and feel like it's my day one. And so I want to share tonight with you guys some of my like really basic strategies on how I've kept that going. But first I want to talk about an experience that happened to me last week or the week before last, because it's super serious. And Erin was saying that she wanted me to do a whole team call about it, but I don't really think that it warrants an entire team call, but it definitely warrants a quick convo. And then I'm going to segue into keeping coaching simple because it's all kind of interconnected in some ways. So if you're not in Coach Corner, or you don't follow me on social media, you will not know that my Instagram was hacked last week. And so just to give you a little background about how this all happened, like I consider myself to be pretty tech savvy when it comes to my social media and like monitoring creepos. Like anybody who messages me like for my Cash App, they're getting blocked immediately. Like I'm always kind of on alert. But this particular situation happened. I was talking to a girl who's actually in the sisterhood. I'm not sure if she's an active coach today or not, but we talk a lot, and she's really, really encouraging and supportive of my journey. And I genuinely really like her. And so she sent me a message and she was like, hey, would you be able to do me a favor? And I said, of course. And she said, I'm running for this fitness ambassador program. And I was hoping that you could vote for me. And I was like, yeah, definitely. And she sent a link and I was like, ooh, guard up. Because I'm tech savvy, right? And I'm smart. I'm a really smart female. And I was like, you know what? Like I'm super uncomfortable with clicking external links through Instagram because like something was just telling me that this wasn't right. And she was like, oh my gosh, I totally get it. No sweat. She's like, just grab a screenshot of the link and I'll send it to the girl and she'll count it as a vote. And I was like, yeah, right. That sounds innocent enough. It's a screenshot. And so I took the screenshot, sent it to her, and everything went dark. My Instagram kicked me out immediately. I knew right away what had happened. And I was like, oh my God, my heart just started absolutely racing. I tried to get back in and it said, please send us the password from your 2-factor authentication, which I never enabled. So this password that Instagram was sending me to get back into my account was being sent to somebody else. Almost immediately, I grabbed my husband's phone and checked, and my Instagram handle had been changed. It was no longer Every Effort by Erin. It was gone. It was something else with underscores and hashtags and whatever. And the email and phone number associated with the account was gone. It was somebody else's. And this all happened, I'm going to say in under a minute and a half. It was lightning fast. So I honestly went through the stages of grief over this because I've been majorly committed to my Instagram growth over the last year and a half of being in this industry, and I've invested money into that growth as well. I've been a part of 21 Social, which you can research if you want. It costs money, but it helps you grow your following. I've poured my heart and soul into creating relationships on there and to creating a really, really, really strong presence that I'm super proud of. And the idea of having to start from scratch was like enough to make me physically sick. I was experiencing anger. I was experiencing denial. Like, this can't be actually happening. There has to be something that I'm missing here. I was experiencing bargaining. I messaged the guy through my other business account and I was like, name your price. Like, I will pay you any amount of money that you ask for right now to give me my frigging account back. Like, I was so desperate. And honestly, like it made me have this like quick crisis of confidence in my ability to lead effectively if I had to start over again. And I was questioning. It was just awful. It really was. Like, I have over 6,000 followers. That took a long time to grow. And so while I was having my pity party, I just started thinking, like, I can sit here and be a total baby about this and like cry myself to sleep, or I can step up and fucking do something about it. And so I hired my own hacker to get back into my account and take over the account, and I ended up getting it back. But it took a few days and it was awful and it was scary and it cost me money to get it back. But I just want to share a couple takeaways from the experience with you guys so that you're all aware that this can happen even if you're super smart. Because what happened was he took over my account and then he hacked all of my followers. So all these women who were like prospects of mine who I've been pouring love on and chatting to for months and months and months then went and got hacked by him because they trusted me enough to go and vote on this link. So try going back and then inviting those people to join you. Like, awkward. like I know I'm sorry I just got your account hacked through me, but like, do you want to come and work out with me? Like, they were crushed. They were super crushed, and it's awkward, and now I have to rebuild relationships. So number one, get a pen and paper. If you don't know Instagram, if you don't know Facebook, what I want you guys to all do at the end of this call is turn on your freaking 2-factor authentication. What it is, it adds an extra layer of protection on your account. I didn't do it because I didn't know about it, and he went ahead and did it. So any passwords that they were sending to get back into this account were going to this man. And so go and turn that on. It's going to add you an extra little layer of protection to your account, and this is probably not going to happen to you if you have that on. Number two, if something doesn't feel right on there, go with your gut. Like, I knew against my better judgment, don't click that link. I even said it to her, like, I'm super uncomfortable by that. I should have just gone with my gut. Like I said, I'm blocking all of those people who are like, send me your Cash App, or like anybody who's talking about cryptocurrency. Like, those are not my people. Even if whatever they're selling is super legit, those are not the people that I'm connecting with. And I want quality followers on my page. So get rid of them. And like, minimize the riffraff. You know, I think that we're all like really focused about growing this number, but you really want quality people on there. Otherwise, like, what's the point? Because they're not going to be liking and engaging in your posts. So it's just kind of like dead weight. Number three, something that I thought of after the fact was I should have asked her for a voice note. I should have been like, oh, Amy, like, send me a voice note and like, give me some description of this. Because John sitting in Nigeria would not sound like Amy from Ottawa. I can tell you that much. And I know he's from Nigeria. I'm not just guessing. It's all came to a halt when I figured it all out. But like, he wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have put the conversation to bed and blocked her and then messaged her on Facebook and been like, something's going on in your account, right? So I feel like in the future, if I'm having questions or if like something's up, I'm going to be asking for those voice notes, just because a hacker is not going to take the time to send you a voice note, right? And so what I ultimately learned from this experience is that I am not organized enough. Before coming to Florida, so I've been here for several months. We got here right after New Year's Eve. So for the past year before that, I had a really good system that worked for me where I was tracking all of my conversations and all of the followers and like the interactions that I was having on social media. And then I stopped because I came to Florida and I didn't have designated working hours anymore for this business because I have both of my kids with me 24/7. So I'm working in these really, really small pockets of time and I'm having all these conversations on the fly. It's like my kid goes and they're playing independently and then I'm like, bloop, 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 quick convo. And then I move on with my day. But I'm losing sight of who I'm talking to. Like there's some back and forth, but then if Instagram comes to a crashing halt, where are those people? I don't know their usernames. I don't know their emails. I don't know anything. And so what I've started doing since that time is if I have to work in these small pockets of time, or I have a quick conversation while I'm in the car on a 20-minute drive to dinner or whatever, I'm taking the time to write down their username in my phone so that later on when I get home and I'm back to my books, I can then go and record that I can track that I've had that conversation. So you don't have to be a fancy spreadsheet person. You don't have to have this like color-coded whatever. You can literally do it in a journal, but you absolutely 100% have to track these conversations because there is no guarantee that you're going to be having Instagram for life. The whole system could come crashing down. It could go dark for days. And like, what are you going to do? How are you ever going to find those people again? This is potentially, like I did the math, it was thousands of dollars in potential clients that I was losing out on if I never got back into my account. Thousands. Not to say that every single one of them would have joined me, but probably a lot of them will. So if I'd never gotten back in, I don't even know who they are. Can't even remember them. The other thing is take note of your followers. The only thing over the 2 days, however, 3 days that I was kicked out of my account that offered my heart any kind of solace in this entire experience was that Sarah Patterson proactively went and took a screen, I'm gonna cry, she took a screen record of all of my followers for me. That's fucking community right there. I didn't ask her to do that, she did it for me. And she said, like, I know you're not there yet, but in the event that you start over, I have all of your followers in a video for you. And so like I could have taken that and then gone and refollowed those people with a new account, right? In hopes that a bunch of them would follow me back. That was huge. As soon as she said that to me, I started feeling so much better because I wasn't going to have to start from zero, right? Like I would have an idea of who was on my page. So I know some of you, if you have 25,000 followers or whatever, it's going to be a 15-minute video, but like, it's not a bad idea. Do it, upload it to like an external hard drive, and then you have that in the event that you ever do have to start over. Like what a freaking blessing that would be, right? So Sarah, thanks again for that. That was like the best thing anybody could have said to me. And then this is something that I do, but grab email addresses, all your conversations, all of your exchanges about, information, landing pages, all of that stuff that you're sharing with them about joining you should be done in an email, no questions asked. I'm glad that I was doing that from the beginning because I had a lot of emails out that I could still follow up with, and I could still, do some income producing activities, even if I wasn't on Instagram. But there are many coaches on my team who are like, you know what, the email thing just doesn't work for me. Make it freaking work for you. Because nothing is guaranteed on Instagram. And if you're kicked out of there, or if you're kicked out of your Facebook and you never get it back, once again, those people are gone forever. If you've already been having correspondence with them in an email, it is so much more secure. So please, for the love of God, start getting people's email, start sending them, the correspondence through an email, and do this quickly enough, like early on when you're sharing the information with them. Honestly, like, of all of the experience, this just completely reaffirmed my level of commitment to showing up for my audience. The Sarah thing was one of the most incredible things that a person in this community could do for me. And like, I've made some of the best friends in this community. So if you're new here, like, get involved because the women here are unbelievable. Everybody was reaching out, offering support. I know so many of you guys reported the account for me. Like, people were genuinely concerned on my behalf, and it felt so good to have that support. But more than that, I was receiving Facebook messages from women who follow me, or like women who I've never even met before, saying, I don't know what I'm going to do in my mornings if I'm not watching you. Like, I wake up and I drop my kids at the bus, and then I watch your stories, and this is how I start my day. And like, to get those messages just like leveled me up in such a way that I was like, I don't care what it takes. I don't care how many times my Instagram is taken away from me. I'm going to fucking keep doing this over and over and over again. And I'm going to keep coaching. I'm going to keep showing up because I'm making an impact. And like, these strangers were sending me messages of outpouring support and love. Like, that was incredible. And it made me realize that, like, Instagram or no Instagram, I'm going to find a way to do this job. So I really, 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 really want you all to experience that same exact feeling. And I think this is where I'll segue into talking about keeping coaching simple, because I think that so many wonderful coaches or women with the potential to be wonderful coaches overcomplicate the shit out of this job, and they drop before they ever have the opportunity to experience the feeling that I felt when all of these women were messaging me. So switching gears, if you have any questions about the hacking, or you know anyone who gets hacked, call me, I'll help you out. And I have a friend now, he's on my Instagram, he's like my bestie, and he's my own personal hacker, so I got a guy for that. So yeah, keeping coaching. I muted myself there. We've talked about social media, and I am going to focus a lot on that tonight, but social media is where we show up, it's where we conduct our business, it's where we're sparking interest, it's where we're motivating people, it's where we're sharing our message. But before social media, before any of that is important at all, we need to first and foremost be committed to our journey. I cannot stress this enough. And I don't really think that I understood the importance of this until I was several months into this business. But the connecting, the inviting, the reach outs, it's all organic and it's all authentic when you are being consistent in your own journey. So when you're getting results, and like, it does not have to be physical results. I've seen some coaches walk into this job already in great shape who don't have a beautiful, incredible physical transformation, but you have to be committed to growth and change. And that's called getting results, okay? So if you're not committed to your workout, if you're not following one of the 2 nutrition programs, if you're not reading personal development, if you're not, joining in on the new launches, you're not getting results, then everything else about this business is going to seem really, really hard because it's forced. Posting on social, finding something to talk about, inviting others to join you, it's all going to feel really, really, really uncomfortable to you if it's being forced, if it's just like one of those things that you have to do because it's not coming from a place of feeling genuinely excited. Like I said, that place that I still am at a year and a half later of waking up and feeling excited about this journey, that starts because I am still on this transformation journey. So before anything else, be committed to this growth. A lot of coaches have been talking about this like gut health program coming out and how, they're really picky eaters, so they're not 100% sure if they're going to do it or not. And I'm like, this is the best opportunity for you, picky eating aside, to highlight your growth as a human being, right? Because dietary preferences and like the way that you were brought up aside, you are committed to changing yourself, and you are committed to leading from the front to help the women around you change too. And that is super, super, super electric to watch. Someone who's going all in on themselves is somebody that others can't take their eyes off of, no matter if you're 300 pounds right now or if you're at your goal weight of 130, it doesn't matter. Somebody who's gone all in on themselves and all in on this journey is somebody who people cannot take their eyes off of. And that's also somebody who's gonna go all in on their clients, right? Like if you're like, I'm just gonna let this one pass me by, like why is anybody gonna join you when they have massive goals to hit? If you're not gonna be the one, you're not even supporting yourself, how are you going to support them? This is ultimately the difference between somebody joining me and somebody joining someone else, is the fact that like they see me going all in on myself no matter what. 28 weeks pregnant and waking up every single freaking day and not missing a workout is pretty damn impressive. So go all in on yourself. Like I don't understand what any of us are doing here if we're not at least going to put ourselves first. And in line with being committed in your own journey is being consistent. And I think that a lot of coaches have a misconception a little bit about like what consistency means. So last month, Ashlyn ran a BAT challenge. So the BAT is a business activity tracker. If you're not following along on it, look it up because it's a great tool to use for this business. But she asked me to come into the group and just to be a fly on the wall. And I watched as a lot of coaches dropped out of that challenge because they were experiencing overwhelm, or, they had committed to posting to social media, like on their grid every single day. And then they missed a day or 2 or 3 or whatever. And it made them feel like shit about themselves. And they ultimately just dropped out thinking that because they can't post every day, they are a bad coach. So if you're somebody who knows that like maybe you're super busy, you have an incredible career outside of this, you know, coaching is not your number one thing, you've got some kids, you're doing the things. But if you're somebody who knows that, you know, it's not realistic in your life to put up a reel or to put up a post every single day, then don't do it. But what you do need to do is set a realistic goal of what you can do and then do that. You know, I watched Ashlyn lead this chat. Never once did she say, I'm going to post every single day, but she did go into it saying, there's no freaking way that in my lifestyle right now, I can post every day, but I'm committed to 3 posts a week. Static posts. She was in her stories all day, every day, which you should be, but static posts a week, whether that's a reel or whatever, just a picture, great. And she did that. And this allowed her to keep her joy of social media and to not feel like it was something that just like hung over her back all day. Like it's 8 p.m. and I haven't gotten my post up and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. And oh shit. And then you post something that doesn't even get any traction because it's a forced post, right? So figuring out what a realistic goal for yourself is to achieve and then doing that. It takes the pressure off, lets you keep your joy. And like I said, being consistent doesn't necessarily mean that you have to put a post up every day. I think it's great if you can, but if you can't, like, don't let that get you down. Don't let that make you retreat and then do nothing at all. What you should be doing though, is showing up in your stories consistently every single day. This is sharing your workouts, sharing your nutrition, sharing what your real life is all about. If you're new around here, you might think like, I'm pretty boring. I've got nothing going on. I can promise you, I'm looking at the screen right now, and I know half of us on here had that exact same thought. Like right now, I'm just like stay-at-home momming with my kids. I'm pregnant, I'm grumpy, I'm whatever. And I'm sharing that with my audience, and I'm getting more engagement than ever before because everybody at one point has been in my shoes. If you're a boring suburban mom, there's other boring suburban moms out there that want to connect with you. You've got to be sharing that because it does not leave people very much to engage with you on if all you're doing is sharing your workout and your energize. If they're not also drinking energize and working out, right? So you need to be sharing those snippets of your day, sharing what you're all about. This is going to make those conversations feel so much more organic and authentic. It's going to allow people to comment on stuff. Actually, never have I had more discussions in my life than I had when I started talking about gas, bloating, diarrhea, and poo as I have been lately, because that's something that all women are struggling with. And I was like so apprehensive. I'm somebody who really shares a lot, sometimes an oversharer, but like the engagement this week is crazy in talking about that. So share those things, share the sides of your life. This is what consistency means, is showing the daily choices that you have made that have made you a healthier, happier human. Nobody gives a shit that I'm drinking Energize, but you bet your ass that I'm waking up every single day and showing them that I'm mixing my Energize, because that's consistency. And that lets them know that I'm going to be the coach for them that's not going to go anywhere. I'm showing up come hell or high water, right? So consistency means figuring out like what that means for you. Consistency for Courtney is different than it is for me. And that's different than it is to Erin. And that's different than it is to Andrea. So figure out what that means to you and then go and do that thing. And you know what? If that's 3 posts a week and then you post 5, like you're gonna be like, woo, look at me go. You're gonna feel on top of the world rather than feel defeated that you didn't get one up every single day. So to reiterate, set yourself the realistic goals, go and do that, staying consistent in your stories and showing people those daily choices that you have made that have led you to becoming healthier. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of just staying in your lane. This has been a recurring theme that I have noticed, especially now that we have more of us coaches stepping into the training groups. You know, when we first start coaching, we grow this network. Like sisterhood is incredible. There's almost 600 of us in here, I think. So we automatically are growing this community of women who we're following along. We're looking at the top leaders and we're looking at the top coaches in the industry. And our feeds start to be bombarded by all of these incredible, inspiring coaches who've been around and doing the things for a really, really, really long time, right? And I think that it's super easy for us to assume that there's only one way to do the business when we're constantly watching the way that others are doing it. And I'm here to tell you that there's not. People know when you're forcing a personality. People know when you're trying to force something that you're trying to sell, something that you're not really passionate about, something that doesn't necessarily jive with who you are. So keeping it simple is to figure out your most authentic self and then go and share that girl's journey. Okay. Don't try to be like Erin. Don't try to be like Sarah. You have to be like yourself. And I think if I can tell you honestly from the bottom of my heart, the 2 reasons why I found any success in this business is that I've been myself from day one. I stopped following most people. In fact, at NLC, it was awkward because people were like talking about social media and, oh, you probably saw this on my stories. And I'm like, I don't watch your stories. Like, I love all these women so much. I love everybody here, but like, I do not watch stories because I don't want to get in my own head about, you know, the job that I'm doing, the role that I'm doing, the way that I'm showing up on social media. I don't want to get caught in the comparison trap. So I stay in my lane, keep my head down, and I'm always 100% authentically myself. So it's my consistency and it's my authenticity that have allowed me to find any success in this business. And like I said before, if you're new, you have such an advantage. Maybe you haven't figured out exactly who that person is yet that you want to share. Maybe you're even like 6 months or a year in and you still haven't figured out that person, but you have such a huge advantage because you're excited and your body is changing and your mindset is changing and you're learning new recipes and you're learning how to eat a different way and you're building community and you're building friendships and you're changing lives and you're sharing that. And like, that is super, super, super electrifying to watch. So you do not have to approach this from the side of being any kind of expert or any kind of woman who's hosting her own retreats or somebody who's going to all the conferences. You have to share your message of genuine excitement about all of the ways that this is changing your life, and people will not be able to take their eyes off of you. Do not share other people's journeys. Do not go in and copy people's posts and put them in your own words and post that. People see through it, okay? I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, you just want to be yourself. If that's someone who is super sweary, swear in your stories. Like, that's who you really are. That's the person that they're going to get. You know, if that's somebody who offers a little bit more tough love, go and be that person. You know, Andrea is a great example. She didn't have a massive physical transformation when she stepped into this role, but she approached it from the aspect of how her mental health has changed. And she talks a lot about that. And that is super inspiring to watch too. So no matter where you are in your journey, you need to be sharing that journey from a place of it's yours and nobody else's. So be that girl. The other part of that is like a lot of coaches, are focusing their time and their energy on things that they see others doing, but that don't necessarily produce income. Like, I'll use the example of creating really nice graphics, for example. Like, there's a few coaches who are really fixated on like getting into Canva and creating these graphics and, you know, wanting all of their challenge group images to look really like streamlined and really nice. Like, guys, my challenge group graphics are not the purpose of why people are in my challenge groups. The women in my challenge group probably would not care if I ever even posted a graphic ever again. I could just go live every single morning instead of having a graphic in there. These things do not matter. And the women who are doing them have teams of people doing them behind the scenes. Courtney and Erin have a girl who's doing those beautiful graphics, okay? Kim and Jamie have a team of people who are working behind the scenes that we do not see. When you are a top coach, it's not you going at this solo, okay? There are groups of people working with you to get you there. And so if you're somebody like myself who's still only a year and a half into it, stop focusing on trying to be that, because you're not going to get there. You're not going to get, you know, be hitting Success Club and doing all of the vital behaviors and the income producing activities while still trying to pump out all of those amazing behind the scenes things. If you're also working a full-time job and you've got kids at home, like, it's just not realistic. So like, my challenge group graphics are usually just taken off Google, or I do a quick black and white quote on Canva. Like, they take 2 seconds and it's usually a screenshot. That's not the purpose of why people are joining you. People are joining you to get freaking results. So that's what you need to be focused on. So drop all the other shit that is not immediately producing income, money, dollars in your pocket, okay? Income producing activities, those are things like starting conversations. So like I said, this falls in line with consistency. Figure out how many new conversations a day can you have. Like, this is super, super simple. Maybe it's 2. Whew, that's 60 new conversations a month. That's something to be damn proud of. You know, maybe you have bigger hopes and dreams for this business. So maybe it's 5 to 10, maybe it's 15. Like, figure out what that number looks like for you. What makes it comfortable for you without you feeling overwhelmed, without you feeling like you're taking time away from your family or whatever the case may be. And then do that, you know, adding new followers to your page. Maybe that's 5 new people a day, or maybe it's 2 new people a day. This takes 5 minutes. Like, this is not something where we really need to put our heads down and focus. This is like going into your friend's account and being like, oh, she looks like my people, and following her. Like, it's that easy. These are things like inviting people to join you. And once again, I think we overcomplicate the process. Like, in one of the training groups, somebody said like, oh, can you share your messaging of how you invited all those people? But it's like, sure, but how I invite looks totally different than how Sarah invites. Because I invite people like I'm asking them to come to a party at my house, or like I'm standing beside them at a cocktail party having a conversation. And what that sounds like is going to be totally different than what it sounds like when Courtney is having a conversation with somebody. So sharing messaging across the board is scripted and it doesn't work. Once again, you're trying to be like somebody else. So find the way that that's comfortable for you. Simplify it. Talk to people like real human beings, just like you're next to them at a party, just like you're asking them to come and hang out. You know what? Like, if you invited somebody to a party at your house and they're like, oh, I just can't make it this time, you wouldn't be like, God, I throw the worst parties ever. You'd be like, okay, cool, I'll invite you to the next one. And this should be looked at the exact same. Don't let the rejection give you a crisis of confidence as a coach. Let the rejection fuel you on to the next one, okay? So somebody tells you no. All right, I'm going to circle back to you the next time I'm throwing a challenge group. I'd love to have you join. I think you'd be perfect for this, or I'd love to do this with you. Next. And making posts on social. Like, these are all income producing activities. These are the things that you should be doing every single day that are going to add directly to the money in your pocket and that are going to grow your business. Okay. So all of the other stuff, all of that other extra stuff, it just needs to go away. You need to ditch it until you're at a comfortable place in this business where you've figured it out. And that's another thing. I feel like there's a lot of women who are like, I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm not doing something. What else should I be doing? Nothing. If you're doing these things every single day, you're posting, you're connecting, you're sharing your journey, you're doing your personal development, you're doing this job. Like, even today, sometimes I'm like, whew, like, I feel like there might be more that I could be doing, but it's like, well, no, like I've gone over my business activity tracker. I've hit all the points. Like, great. Any extra time that I have can then be devoted to sending out newsletters or whatever I do that I want to do, right? I hear this message all of the time. And I know that like Shalene on Kim's team she bars this word from her community. She's not allowed to say it in her presence. The word is overwhelm. And she actually like doesn't allow it at all. She says like, you chose this life. So like, you're not allowed to say that word. I don't necessarily believe in that, but I do hear I'm overwhelmed an awful lot. And I can sit here and tell you guys with all honesty and sincerity that the only times that I've ever felt anxious or overwhelmed in this business is when I'm not doing the things. It's the only time. You know, like something's come up in my personal life, or I'm traveling, or I'm being a lazy ass. You know, the income producing activities are really easy to do, but they're really easy not to do too, because it's self-driven work. Nobody's standing over your head watching you. You know, you don't have a deadline to hit. You don't have to have a boss asking you to follow up with them and show them your work. So they're really easy not to do. And the only time I have ever had true anxiety or overwhelm in this business is when I have not done the things and then I have to start from scratch. Starting from scratch is freaking hard because you sit down and you have nobody to follow up with. You have nobody to invite because you've been having no authentic conversations, and then you're sending out cold hey girl messages, and that feels weird, and you just don't even know where to begin. But I can tell you, if you're doing these things every single day and you're having a couple new conversations, when it does come time to sit down and do that power hour or have some dedicated work time, you're always going to have things to do. And the things to do are quite simply that: share your message, invite to this, follow up with people, you know, go all in on your nutrition. And that's really it. I think that that's all that I have to share with you guys. I know that I'm cutting it a little bit short, so I don't know, Courtney and Erin, if you want to add anything, but when I was prepping for this call, I was talking to a couple coaches, and I even said to them, like, I feel like I'm missing stuff. And they're like, no, you're not though. Like, keeping business simple is just about that. It's about doing the things, in the business hours that you've set for yourself, sharing your message, connecting with people, and really that's it.
Erin, you close every call.
Oh, is it on me? It's true. It's true. The business is so simple. It's going all in on you, get results, share that with other people, help them get results, and continue to pay that forward. And I think that it's so easy to get caught up in comparison, to get caught up in being like, I'm not doing enough, to get caught up in all of the extras, when in the reality, this business is such a gift. Take care of yourself, be authentic to you, go all in on you, invite other people to do that with you, and help them do the same thing. And I think the more that we simplify it, the more that we can do it from the heart, the less it becomes about sales, the less it becomes about hitting a C or getting a rank, and the more it genuinely is about you being your best self and helping other people be their best selves too, and truly inviting them from a place of heart. So Erin, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming here tonight and sharing your scary, crazy story, and that we all can learn from. I hope every single one of you have your two-factor authentication on. I still don't understand how the screenshot allowed them to have access to your account. That's crazy to me.
It was a link. It was the link that they needed to like reset everything. I don't know.
So terrible. So terrible. But all that to say, appreciate you and your experience. I think we can all learn from it, and make ourselves stronger and wiser and able to actually help more people. So thanks for everybody for coming tonight. I hope that you put your two-factor authentication on and you start thinking about gut health and how you can share your story vulnerably in order to help other people with theirs too. So it's not too late to kill this launch. Have a great night, guys.